The Book of Watchers, Chapter 1. These are the words of Enoch, who bestowed a blessing upon the chosen and righteous, who will exist during the days of great trouble, when the wicked and impious will be eradicated. Enoch, a righteous man, received a special revelation from God. His eyes were opened, enabling him to witness a sacred vision in the celestial realms. The angels revealed profound knowledge to him, and he comprehended what he saw. However, this revelation was not intended for his own generation, but for a future time. Enoch engaged in dialogue and communed with the Holy and Great One, who would come from his dwelling place, the God of the entire world. This mighty being would stand upon Mount Sinai, accompanied by his angelic hosts, emanating strength and power from the heavens above. The presence of this divine being would instill fear in all, and even the watchers, the heavenly beings entrusted with overseeing creation, would tremble in awe and trepidation. Great fear and terror would encompass the entire earth. The lofty mountains would quake, and the towering hills would be leveled, melting away like wax in the presence of a blazing fire. The earth itself would be engulfed, and all that dwells upon it would be utterly destroyed. A universal judgment would ensue, encompassing both the righteous and the wicked. However, the devout and virtuous would receive peace and protection. The chosen ones would experience prosperity and divine blessings, while the light of God would shine upon them. They would be enveloped in mercy, and they would genuinely belong to God. He would come accompanied by multitudes of holy beings to execute judgment upon the impious. Everyone would be held accountable for their actions and transgressions committed against him. Chapter 2. Witness all that unfolds in the celestial realms. See how the luminaries, which reside in the heavens, faithfully adhere to their designated paths. Each rises and sets according to its appointed time, never deviating from the designed trajectories. Observe the earth and take note of every action transpiring upon it, from its very inception to its ultimate conclusion. Every work of God manifests in an orderly manner, devoid of irregularity. Consider the cycles of summer and winter. During this time, the entire earth becomes saturated with water. Clouds, dew, and rain descend upon it, nourishing and replenishing its various regions. Chapter 3. As I observed, it became apparent that most trees appeared withered. There were 14 trees whose leaves remained intact. These trees retained their foliage for 2 to 3 years until new leaves emerged. Chapter 4. Once again, my attention turned to the days of summer. During this time, the sun ascends above the earth, casting its scorching rays upon the land. Seeking respite from the heat, you seek shade and cooler retreats. The constant heat emanates from the earth, rendering it unbearable to walk upon, or even to touch a rock. Chapter 5. I looked at the splendor of green leaves adorning the trees, bearing fruit as an offering. All of this was purposed by the Eternal One, who grants such abundance for your delight and enlightenment. His works are evident year after year, and all creation serves his divine purpose. Nothing occurs without his sovereign will. Observe how the seas and rivers harmonize their appointed tasks. Yet, you have transgressed and failed to obey the commandments of the Lord. You have slandered us, displaying a hardened heart devoid of peace. Consequently, you will accurse your days and perish in sorrow. The weight of everlasting curse will increase upon you, and mercy will elude you. On that fateful day, the righteous will denounce you as sinners, surrendering any measure of peace in exchange for eternal condemnation. Conversely, the chosen ones will inherit the earth, basking in the radiance of light, joy, and peace. But for the impious, a curse will be their portion. Wisdom will be bestowed upon the chosen, guiding them away from wickedness and pride. The wise will walk humbly and remain unharmed. Plagues, judgments, or the wrath of God will not afflict them. Instead, they will enjoy long, peaceful lives, embracing eternal happiness and serenity. Chapter 6. As mankind multiplied, beautiful and alluring daughters were born to them. The heavenly beings, known as sons of God, looked at these daughters, and were overcome with desire for them. They conspired, saying, "Let us take wives from among the children of men, and bear children." Their leader, Semyaza, grew concerned that he alone would bear the consequences of this grievous sin. However, the others swore an oath, and bound themselves by a curse, vowing to persist in their plan. In total, 200 participated in this transgression. They descended upon Mount Hermon, specifically the summit called Yared, where they sealed their pact with a pledge, thus giving rise to the name Mount Hermon. Among them were leaders of thousands, and the rest were in their company. Their names were Semyaza, aka Rev, Tamuel, Remuel, Danel, Ezekiel, Barakiel, Asol, Armaros, Batarel, Ananel, Zachiel, Sasamaspeviel, Xterel, Terel, Yemiel, and Ariel. Chapter 7. The heavenly beings took wives from among humans, and imparted knowledge of charms, conjurations, and the methods of extracting roots and wood. These women conceived and gave birth to giants, who towered at a height of 3,000 measures. These giants consumed all the resources of humankind, causing significant depletion and hardship for humanity. Eventually, the giants turned against humans, seeking to devour them. They performed abominable acts with birds, beasts, creeping things, and fish, consuming their flesh and drinking their blood. Because of these wicked activities, the earth cried out in protest against the unjust deeds committed upon its surface. Chapter 8. Azazel, one of the fallen angels, taught humans the forbidden arts of crafting weapons such as swords, knives, shields, and armor. He also revealed the method of creating decorative items like bracelets and ornaments. Furthermore, he instructed them in using cosmetics, dyeing eyebrows, and manipulating precious stones and metals. Such knowledge and practices led to widespread corruption, immorality, and an overall decline in moral conduct among the people. Ametzerak taught humans the art of magic and the secrets of root cutting. Armaros shared knowledge on breaking magical spells. Barakal imparted knowledge of astrology. Kokabel taught about celestial signs. Temel enlightened humans about the movements of the stars, and Osradel provided insight into lunar patterns. When the time of destruction drew near, the cries and pleas of humanity reached the heavens, begging for justice and intervention. Chapter 9. Mihael, Gavriel, Surian, and Urian, observing from their heavenly abode, looked down upon the earth and witnessed an overwhelming surge of violence and wickedness. They conversed, remarking that the earth had become desolate, and the cries of the suffering people had reached the gates of heaven. The souls of humans cried out to the holy beings in heaven, pleading for divine justice before the Most High. Turning their attention to their master, the king, they addressed him with reverence, acknowledging his sovereignty and majesty. They praised his holy and glorious name, recognizing his eternal blessedness. They acknowledge that he is the creator of all things, holding supreme power over everything. All-seeing gaze, nothing can remain hidden from his sight. Turning their attention to Azazel, they voiced concern about the wickedness he had taught upon the earth, revealing secrets divinely purposed in the heavens. They also highlighted the actions of Semyaza, the leader chosen among his associates, who led the revelation of forbidden knowledge and the practice of magic. The heavenly beings drew attention to the transgressions committed by these fallen angels, who engaged with human women, defiling themselves and propagating sins. The offspring born from these unions were giants, resulting in widespread bloodshed and evil permeating the entire earth. The souls of the deceased cried out and lamented, their voices echoing at the gates of heaven as they bore witness to the atrocities unfolding on earth. Recognizing God's omniscience and understanding of all things past, present, and future, they sought guidance and direction, questioning what should be done in response to the dire circumstances. Chapter 10. Then the Most High, the Great and Holy One, spoke, and sent Esilalliur to the son of Lamech, delivering a message in his name. Tell him to hide himself, and reveal to him the impending end. The entire earth will be destroyed, engulfed by floodwaters, covering everything upon it, wiping out all living beings. Instruct him to ensure his own survival and that of his descendants, so they may escape the devastating catastrophe and continue to inhabit the earth. The Lord issued another command to Ruphael, saying, Bind Azazel hand and foot and confine him in darkness. Create an opening in the secluded desert of Dudale, and place him there. Cover him with rough and jagged rocks, shrouding him in perpetual darkness so he may never see the light again. On the day of great judgment, he will be cast into the fires of punishment. Heal the earth that the fallen angels have defiled, and announce that I will restore it. Not all human beings will be destroyed because of the teachings and actions of the Watchers and their offspring. Assign all sins to Azazel, as it was through his deeds that the whole earth was corrupted. God commanded Gabriel, Go against the sons born from illicit unions, those who have been rejected and abandoned, and the children of fornication. Bring destruction upon the offspring of fornication and the children of the Watchers among humankind. Lead them astray and let them destroy one another through acts of violence. Their days will be short-lived. They will turn to you for help, but their fathers will obtain no mercy or salvation for them, even though they expect eternal life. Each of them will only live for 500 years. God spoke to Mihail. Proclaim the judgment and destruction that awaits Semyaza and the others who have bound themselves to women. They will suffer the same fate as their corrupted offspring, witnessing the destruction of their beloved ones. Bind them beneath the hills of the earth for 70 generations until the day of their judgment and ultimate end, when the final judgment is passed for all eternity. In those days, they will be cast into the fiery abyss, where they will endure torment and imprisonment for eternity. They will burn and be destroyed together from now until the end of all generations. Remove all lives consumed by lust and eradicate the descendants of the Watchers, for they have oppressed humankind. Cleanse the earth of all oppression, injustice, sin, wickedness, and impurity that have plagued it. Let these evils be eradicated from the earth. The seeds of justice and righteousness will flourish, bringing blessings upon all. Justice and righteousness will be firmly established, bringing everlasting joy. The whole earth will be transformed, worked with justice, and teeming with abundant blessings. Desired trees will flourish, and vines will be planted, yielding abundant fruit. A single measure of seed will produce 10,000, and a single measure of olives will yield 10 presses of oil. Purge the earth of all oppression, injustice, sin, wickedness, and uncleanness that have plagued it. Eradicate these evils from the earth. All the children of humankind will walk in righteousness, and all nations will worship and bless me as God. They will worship me in reverence. The earth will be cleansed from corruption, sin, punishment, and torment. Never again will I unleash a flood upon it, from generation to generation, for all eternity.
Hey, Pinchas here. I hope you enjoyed listening to my new translation of the First Book of Enoch. If you did, hit the like button. What you heard are just a few opening chapters, and naturally, the whole book is much longer. The complete book translation is available on Amazon, in paper and Kindle, and yes, you can keep listening to it on Audible if you prefer. For your convenience, I'll put a direct link in the description of this video, so thanks for listening. And you knew I was going to say this, you might want to subscribe.